drivers.
Once, twice? That's it?
Hammered
Nope.
it all
Dustin?
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. It's reconfigured pit road. What does that look like? How visually different? What kind of challenges might that lead to on Sunday?
Yeah, pit road's way different. You talk about the similarities or the things that are the same, just not the same. Pit road's way different. It's way wider than I expected it to be. They moved it, I want to say about 20 feet or so wider than what it was, and the radius in which the corner we used to travel is now more sweeping and wider. So your pit road speeds are going to be a bit different. We've got to kind of redo that and go through running pit road speeds and kind of making sure that our tacks are set, our lights are set, whatever people use. So those are some differences, but nothing that is much different than any other place you go to that reconfigures. Vegas used to be all straight. Now it's kind of bend. So it's not that much different.
Also, Joey Logano says that he considers himself the favorite for the championship based on how he's run lately. Your thoughts?
Sure. He's the only one locked in to go to Homestead, so he's the only guy racing right now. So, he can be the favorite if he wants to.
Justin Schuler, Speedway Media. We saw the Xfinity practice where a lot of the drivers were slow through 3 and 4 practicing restarts. Are you anticipating, either the high line or the low line being the best for restarts?
I don't know. I haven't thought about that. I think that there's enough that you can overthink things and not really know what the answer is going to be until you truly get to see what the effect of it is. And so by watching the Truck Series race, by watching the Xfinity Series race, you're going to learn a heck of a lot more. So there's no sense in even thinking about any of that stuff until you see some examples of it.
Go Chris here, and then to Reed.
Chris Knight, catchruns.com. Just wondering if you can give an update on Samantha's IVF journey and your guys' progress. Everything going on?
Yeah, so we went to the doctor last week and went through the implantation, I guess you'd call it, where the embryo comes from the freezer. They thaw it out, make sure everything goes all right, and then it's in a syringe basically, and the doctor sets it in, and hopefully everything goes good. So once the doctor was done, I gave him a high five, said thanks doc, and we went on our way. So not quite the same as some other people are able to have children, so wanted to make sure I gave my condolences to the doctor. But overall, she just had to lay low kind of this week, and we don't know anything for 12 days, so we won't know anything until after Homestead. Huh? Will we? Yeah, I'm sure we will. Yeah, we have so far. We've gone this far. Yeah, we could. Yeah, we're supposed to know more in 10 days. So if we don't give an answer in 11, then I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully all goes well. There could be bad news, so we don't know.
Kathy Brown, pitting outside the box. In races previously, we've seen maybe 3 or 4 cars go down into the dog leg to use it as a way to pass. Do you anticipate that that's going to double given the new configuration this year?
Well, I kind of look at that as 2 different ways. One of those being that the restart zone where it is, and you got to be bumper to bumper, door handle to door handle, supposed to be. So when you throttle up and you go through the restart zone past start finish, you probably won't really have that big of a run on someone. So how they fan out and stuff, I don't know that you'll see it as much as we did beforehand, where the restart zone being on the front straightaway, you go through 1 and 2, depending on how guys' cars handled and how they did a good job or didn't do a good job on restarts through 1 and 2. That's where you would start to see the discrepancy in someone getting off the corner good, somebody getting off the corner not so good, and that's why you would see the fan out down the back straightaway. So I don't know how that's going to work. It's either going to be really tame and not a whole lot going on until you come back around, or it could be chaos once everybody gets past the start-finish line. So I don't know.
We'll go to Reed and then to Wolfgang.
Reed Spencer with the NASCAR Wire. As wide as pit road is here, is there any danger of, if you try to take a shorter line through that, like at Bristol, that you might speed?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. So you kind of got to, do what you would do at Bristol. That's definitely something to pay attention to. With, they tell you all the time, like, don't cut the radius, and depending on where all the timing lines are exactly, and when you start to turn off from the outer lane to the inside lane, and how that roll speed looks and things like that, there can certainly be some guys that get themselves busted.
Wolfgang?
Wolfgang Monser from Germany. You said earlier, Carl, that the track is unchanged like it was before, just different order. Did you speak with your spotter? It's maybe confusing or challenging for your spotter?
In what regard?
In what regard? Because it's now named different, the turns.
Oh, well.
Or maybe they are also placed or located in a different place now, the spotters.
As long as everybody references their corners based off of how the racetrack's labeled them, then I think we're all going to be on the same page. So turn one's turn one, turn two's turn two, turn 3, 4, dog leg. So the racetrack did a good job of spelling that out for us all, so hopefully we don't get too confused.
All right, we'll go to Chris and then to Lee.
If you don't mind, I'm going to shift into a truck question. Did you give Noah any advice for tonight? And then how impressed were you with Todd to handle the defeat of last weekend as well as he did?
I haven't seen Noah. Last year they ran really good here. They were really fast, so I didn't feel like he had any questions for me or I had any guidance for him on making sure that they were fast again. Obviously, you should learn from your mistakes and not being on the inside of a guy for 3 laps and pushing harder to try to clear him. Tonight's just a night where you have to minimize mistakes. And if you're going to lose one spot versus crashing out, then just lose the one spot, So that's kind of what he should set into. And obviously Todd last week was, I don't even know what last week was. I don't know why they ran out of fuel. That doesn't make any sense to me. So, how Todd handled that after the race, I could tell he was really, really mad and angry and frustrated and everything else, the same as I would be. But, it seemed as though having some familiar faces around him and somebody to grab him and hug him before he got on television was a huge positive for him. So, his dad was right there, so that was a good thing for him. I felt like he was able to rebound right out of that and talk well on television and do a good job.
Lee Spencer, RacingBoys.com. I was at Snowball Derby a couple years ago when your car was DQ'd. Christopher Bell was driving and Gapehart was crew chief. On Sunday when Harvick's car was found illegal.
On Wednesday?
Well, but yes. He lost 40 points. He kept 20 points for the stage wins. You got it out a 17th place finish and I think had 24 points. How do you feel as far as when a car is disqualified afterwards like his was, although he kept the win? That point thing is a little kind of goofy because, you were racing, your car was legal, you got through, but where do you stand as far as points go, as far as still keeping the wins?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I think it gets convoluted and complicated. If a guy doesn't have any stage points at all and finishes 20th but's a random and gets busted and has a 40-point penalty, he essentially gets a negative, right? So how do you give a negative? I don't know how that works. So I think that's kind of the deterrent as to how exactly they determine the number, or it's not. I don't know. Too complicated for me to figure out. People a lot smarter than me are trying to figure that out right now, but it's just a fact of the matter, I guess. And they were found in outside what the rules landscape is and got busted for it. So just kind of got to move on now. I don't know. There's so many different things to think about. I mean, people are saying, well, they should be parked for the next race, and you got sponsors and things like that, and all this can't miss a race thing. And I don't know. Should you be thrown out after the race is over? Well, it was Bill France Sr. that always said that the fans want to see who won the race win the race, even if they're pegged afterwards, right? So, I don't know. I don't know what is the best way. I don't like going to the Snowball Derby and having everything go your way and winning in a big race like that. Every race is a Snowball Derby here in the Cup Series, and you're 2/10 over on left side weight. You didn't mean to, but if you fill the car back full of fluids and start back over, we were legal before the race, so you're fine in that regard, so you shouldn't be thrown out, but our instance, yeah, we have been thrown out for left side weight infractions and things like that weren't malicious. They weren't to defeat the rule book.
And we'll go to Chase to wrap up.
Chase Willem, NASCAR.com. Kyle, you have, excuse me, top 5 finishes in 5 of the last 6 starts here. You have 1 practice under your belt. What is your overall confidence level for the weekend?
Confidence is pretty high. You better have good confidence these days right now and doing what we're doing. And we had a really, really fast race car last week, and we just had nothing to show for it. We just got behind every chance we thought we were going to get out of our hole. We got back in our hole. We had our speeding penalty, and I came back from that back to 7th to score points in the first stage. Then we had a loose wheel on pit road, came back to fix the loose wheel. We were 2 down. I think we rode in the lucky dog position for 100 laps, and then finally the leader caught somebody else past them, and 10 laps later the caution comes out. Just everything that could go wrong did go wrong for us. It just didn't seem to be our day. And those days can happen. Those days can happen this week. Those days can happen next week. So you just got to stay focused and fight as hard as you can each and every lap and do your job as best you can. And sometimes the racing gods work with you, and sometimes they work against you. So it's just a matter of being able to do all that. But confidence is high. Race team's doing a great job. JGR, Toyota, the guys are building some really fast cars. So certainly looking forward to this week. Would love to be able to score the win and complete being able to win at every track with Joe Gibbs Racing. And that Phoenix is the last one of that. So hopefully we can do it.
On that note, thank you very much, Kyle.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks.